it was discovered, it was reported that Tencent secretly funded Highguard, and in a way that just makes so much sense to me. But like, Bill, you also had some kind of questions here. I don't know, was there more you wanted to set up to this?
Oh, you can set it up any way you want, and then I can throw questions in anytime.
Okay.
Or you can ask questions.
One of the things that I posted in the group chat was like, there was this tweet from a person named One Peg, and it says, so it's a little sus that Jeff Keighley's Game Awards show has the president of Tencent on the board of said show, showed Highguard last, and it comes out that Highguard was funded by Tencent all along. And to be honest, this poster was getting like railed in the comments, but to be fair, like, this is a very like conspiratorial take, but I follow this, not necessarily that like it's clear that favors were exchanged, but I think, first of all, I think that this is a conflict of interest, just broadly speaking, to have like publishers of large games on the board of a Game Award show, right? Like, I think there's a conflict of interest there.
Huge.
But yeah. So I think whether or not a favor was exchanged, that's a problem to me personally. And then what I posed in the chat with you guys is that, like, broadly, when I reflect on Keighley, like, I see an order of priorities, right? Like, the first priority he has is around money and power. And to be fair to him, he's using that money and power to put on an awesome show, right? Like he wants an awesome show, but he's using the money and power to make an awesome show. So like, the first things first, I need money and power so that I can put on an awesome show. So that's the first priority. The second priority is then you celebrate video games as a medium. And so when I put that as an order, what I mean is I will celebrate video games as a medium, but I will not do it necessarily if it costs me money and power. So that's the second priority. The third is then you advocate for developers. And then finally, if anything is left over, you advocate for consumers. So like, for example, he'll advocate for developers like Kojima, but at the time he had no relationship with Konami, right? So it doesn't damage his relationship with the Konami. But when it came to layoffs about 2-3 years ago, we were all very vocal that he said nothing about layoffs. And really, since then, he still hasn't. Like, he's alluded to them and said how hard it is on people, but he's never, said companies should do better, for example. So that's how I see his things. Do you guys see this as a conspiracy or conspiracy theory? Russ, what do you think?
I do see it being kind of like, hey, Jeff, can you do me a solid? And, like, it's not a game that I think generated enough enthusiasm to warrant that coveted space in the Game Awards itself, And so I do think that there's probably something else going on. I don't, whether or not money exchanged hands at this point, like, I don't know. I just feel like Jeff Keighley is super rich, and it just, whatever. Like, if he's getting money for all this stuff, like, it doesn't.
Right.
I'm not staying up late at night thinking about how much money Jeff Keighley is making on this kind of stuff. I just want him to deliver a Game Awards, And
right.
so, like, I don't think about how the Oscars people are like making money. I don't think about that stuff. So, I think that there is probably something to it. I mean, just the connections kind of seem to be there, especially with the way that Highguard just kind of came out like that. It just kind of seemed like it was pushed. It makes sense to me.
What about you, Kerry?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement there. How could you not? Look, I'm the guy that will start putting pins on a wall and just be like, look at all the things connecting dots over here. Like, I'm the guy that does that. So yeah, 100%. Is there cronyism? Yeah.
That's the word. That's a good word. Cronyism. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so I am in total agreement with you that Jeff Keighley 100% does not want to rock the boat. He wishes to maintain his position. I think he's well off, but I also think that he would be fine, right? He would be fine if anything happened. But he doesn't want anything to happen. He wants to continue doing these things. I think that the initial goal was, like, I truly feel in my heart of hearts that Jeff Keighley, when he was setting out to do this, he looked at the other Game Award shows and just was like, the toilet humor and all of like the weirdo stuff that just like,
Spike
this is
TV.
Yeah, there's like, it's better than this. We're not this. And I truly, truly believe that Jeff Keighley had a vision that we all had, and he wanted that to be the case, and he has been trying to do it, and he has successfully brought this along. And now he's in a place where, how does he keep the ship together? And he doesn't want any bit of that to start creaking or groaning, and he will just try to maintain that up until, like, maybe he does change his position when he is firm that his place is almost immovable, or if they were to do anything, it would, like, he would look fine for him. He's already fine. He did what he had to do. He set out what he had to do. He is satisfied with what he has accomplished, and it is what it is at that point. Sometimes, people are okay with it, and I get the sense from that, because it was just like, I didn't hear anything about it at all.
Right.
And it was like, everything about it, I was like, what is going on? This is such a weirdly non-organic viral moment that is happening. And it just fell straight on its face. And when you look back and you're like, oh, well, that's why. So I think it looks bad. I don't think it's going to really damage anything at the current moment, but I think that he should be very careful. And if he gets anything from board members saying, hey, we have this thing, you should do this thing, he'd be like, remember that last time that I did you all a solid? You're going to have to, sit this one out or whatever. Maybe he has, a card that he can now play all the time. I have no idea. I feel like, to wrap that all up, I feel like Jeff Keighley he did have his heart in the right place, and I think he does, and he's just trying to navigate that, however difficult it can be within the interpolitics of whatever that stuff is. And, not for nothing, right? Like, they are sponsoring this thing to happen. They are sponsoring to make it what his vision he wants his vision to be. So it's kind of part and parcel a bit. So I don't think it's easy. And, it is what it is, but I think for sure that there are clear signs.
Yeah, I think if you, you look at, I didn't watch this year's awards, but, we all live streamed it one year. I remember that. And my big takeaway with that was half of this is just advertising. He's not actually excited about this game. He's just going to show it. And I feel like Highguard's one of those. And that's probably the first time that it's felt like that spot has been specifically an advertised game. Other reveals have been Hades 2, they revealed that one time, and yeah, it's something that is just organically exciting, and I didn't really see it this year.
Yeah, and some important context that you may have missed, Russ, too, is that everyone thought it was clearly an advertised spot, and then Jeff Keighley came out and said, actually, no one, they paid money, if I recall correctly, they paid money to be on the show, just like everyone else paid money to be on the show, but I picked the placement. Jeff said, I wanted it to go last. And so everybody was like, really? And then finally this comes out, and so that kind of adds to some of the drama here. Yeah. Bill, I want to hear what you think, and then afterwards, you played Highguard, so I also want to hear your answer to your own question. Is it fair to call it a failure already?
Okay, so first off, I agree. This never happens. I agree with Carrie 1,000%.
Let's go.
I think that Jeff Keighley got in. That's right. He got into it with the best intentions. He really did. He looked at this Spike TV nonsense where they got people. They would get some celebrity dipshit to run and jump off a trampoline to stick on a wall. It's it was really bad, and it made anybody who played video games look like an immature little shit stain. It looked bad for us, and I hated it. Every time I watched it, it was bad, and I always thought, why can't they do something cool like the Oscars or something? And Jeff Keighley made the Oscars for gaming, and so for that, I'm grateful to him, because it does celebrate the achievements that video game makers make. And so I think that that's awesome. But then he keeps trying to one-up himself every year with the production quality, and that is expensive. And you got to have sponsors that are paying you a lot of money in order to do that. And it makes it really hard to make those decisions when money is involved. And I'm not saying that he is on the take in order to get Highguard in that place, because I don't think he is. But if it looks bad, and there's this whole thing about judges are supposed to recuse themselves if it could possibly be viewed as that's not right.
Exactly.
And so kind of wish that he says, I made the decision. He shouldn't be making that decision. One person should not make that decision. That should be a board of people who are making that decision, because yes, it is his show, but it's grown beyond him, I think. And that's how I feel about that. And then the second part of the question, is it too soon to call Highguard a failure? I find this a really hard question to answer, because if you go back to, and I'm going to get the year wrong, but 2013, Hello Games put out, and now I've forgotten the name of the game.
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. No Man's Ski, as you know, the kids call it these days. They put out No Man's Sky, and that game was just a dumpster fire at first. And they righted the ship, they said, you know what? It sucks. We're sorry. We're going to fix it. And then they put their nose to the grindstone and they fixed it. And they turned it into what, I haven't played it, but a lot of people freaking love that game. They made a really good game. They took their beating and they said, you know what? I'm going to do the work and fix it. And they did it. So maybe Highguard can do that, but I think Highguard suffers from being shown at the Game Awards, like as that one more thing. He goes, by the way, from the creators of Titanfall and some other game that I can't remember. Apex, yes, from Titanfall and Apex Legends, and people are like, oh my God, we're going to get a new Titanfall game. We've been waiting for this forever. No, we didn't get that. That's what everybody thought. They let their expectation become, or they let their, how do I want to phrase it? They let their anticipation become expectation, and then they didn't get what they expected, and they said, well, this is junk. I played the game. I didn't like it. I didn't think it was bad. I felt like the maps were too big. They should have had more characters on the maps, and it was just a whole lot of, yeah, that's another one of these. And that's not, like, if this game launched in early access without all of the bells and whistles around the Game Awards, I think it would have done okay. You know what I mean?
So I will, just one counterpoint to the No Man's Sky thing is, the thing with No Man's Sky is that it had this amazing ambition to it, and they didn't deliver on that, right? And so it's like they promised a lot and they didn't come out, and then they got there eventually. And I think that's a big success story, and it's really cool. This is not that game. This is like, we're going to make a game like the game you're already playing. You know, and that's not a good like motivation right there. And so I think that's probably the difference between the two, is that I don't really need Highguard to refine the type of game that it is. I wanted something new, something that is revolutionary, something like No Man's Sky, which was like a ton of ambition.
But Russ, this is a rating shooter, whatever the hell that means.
Yeah, but anything can be revolutionized, you know. So
right. I think failure. I think you're right. It's a hard question to answer, although I do think they have a lot more of an uphill climb than either No Man's Sky or Cyberpunk 2077 for a lot of reasons. But I think failure or not, I gotta say, Highguard was given a fair shot. Despite yes, there was a lot of divisiveness even before it was released, but they had 100K something or 90K something concurrent players. Yeah, concurrent players, and this is a random live service game. No live service game is going to get that sort of play that quickly without, you know, like that just doesn't happen, right? And so like it happened because people wanted to find out. Maybe they wanted to trash it, but like if I make a good game and you get on the servers trying to trash it, but because I made a good game, I turn your opinion around, you're going to keep playing it, right? But the game just wasn't fun. And
no, it wasn't.
Right. And so it's possible maybe with a few more hours it's fun, although not from what I've heard. But either way, you contrast that to something like Marvel Rivals. Even when you're losing, that game was fun. Like even just to see what Venom does versus what Spider-Man does, what, you know, Iron Man does, how those people play, it's just fun, right? Like that's a spectacle. To the credit of the devs of Highguard, they did adjust quickly by adding 5, but then they also laid off a bunch of people afterwards. So it says to me that they were not prepared to service a game like this in the long haul. You know, even if they have that road ahead of them, again, it's made harder by the fact that they laid off however much of their staff they laid off. So it seems unlikely.
So I'm going to say a few things. Number one, there was like the best thing, like there was an actual fantastic thing for No Man's Sky when it came out. And that was that, that trailer where it was the Jurassic Park music with all of, like the trailer shots, and then it went to the in game, and then it was the kazoo version of Jurassic Park. This is the funniest thing. It was so good. So that was great. You know what Highguard reminds me of a lot, because I kind of just like looked at it and didn't, but then when I saw some video playback, I don't know if you guys ever played it. It kind of came and went. It was the Shadowrun.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, so like it's like Cyberpunk, but with like elves and trolls, and like it's like a bunch of weird stuff. Like you have mixed genres, and that's what I kind of feel like with Highguard. It's just like, it's kind of like a playground of like ideas where there's nothing concrete there. I haven't played it, but I do love your pull quote, Bill, and they should totally just slap it on there on like the Steam thing. Is like, yep, it's one of those games. or whatever.
Something like that. I want to play a little game real quick. How many people do you think are playing this game right now?
Jeez.
Rich, pick somebody to give us a number, and then you can go higher or lower.
Okay. Carrie, you give us a number.
Thank God.
It's free to play, so I'm going to say on Steam.
On Steam, this moment.
On Steam.
At this moment, I'm going to say it has 1,000 players.
I'm going to go higher. I was like lower than 5 digits, but I don't think it's quite under 4. I'm going to say higher than 1,000.
Russ, higher or lower?
This is not a free-to-play game, right?
This is a free-to-play game.
It is a free-to-play game, yeah.
Then higher.
Okay. Right now, there are 935 players. Yeah, Carrie
Price
was
is
so
right,
close.
baby. I felt it in my
That was
bones.
insane.
You never shadow run, guys. You never make a
You
shadow
never
run.
go
I
full
don't know.
shadow run.
You never go full shadow run, guys. I don't know. You should have just asked me. I could have told you. You could have saved yourselves a lot of trouble.
The things too that I posted in chat is like, man, it being made by Tencent makes so much more sense than just like an indie studio that was like, yeah, I'm gonna make a live service game, and it'll be if I make 100,000 concurrent players play the game, that's a failure, right? Like no indie studio is gonna choose that.
Yeah. So one last thing I want to cap out on. You guys were talking about, so I wasn't paying attention to a lot of like the behind the scenes media stuff with games back in the day, but you guys mentioned the Spike Video Game Awards, and so I was like, what is that? So I'm like looking it up. So the very first one was in 2003. Okay, so we're talking PS2 era, right? And just scrolling through, Game of the Year shocked me of what the choice is. So I want to tell you guys all the nominations that didn't get it, and see if you guys can guess the game that did.
This is fun.
So this is in 2003, December 2003, hosted by Funkmaster Flex and David Spade, which is hilarious.
There you go. See?
So here are the nominees. These are I'm going to say them all except for the game that actually won: Freedom Fighters, GTA Vice City, Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker, SOCOM 2, SSX 3, Star Wars Galaxies, Star Wars KOTOR, Splinter Cell, and Tony Hawk's Underground. So it was a different game that won.
Dang.
I think you might
And
be
we're
muted,
supposed to
Bill.
guess
I don't
what game
remember.
won?
I don't remember 2003 games. I'm just gonna pick something random. Was WarioWare in 2003?
No.
That was a GameCube title.
Yeah. I should have actually snuck in the winner, and then you guys would have to guess from that.
Yeah.
Sorry, because it's a little bit harder to try to come out the thin air.
Yeah, I can't think of games that came out in 2003.
I'm trying to think, but Splinter Cell's. I was gonna say, I'm thinking of like something on Xbox, but I don't think Xbox would have won.
How could
Play
KOTOR
PS
not have won?
Yeah, it's multi-platform. I'll give you that.
2000. I can't. No, I'm drawing a blank here. No, I'm not
Call
gonna
of
be able to do
Duty?
anything.
I don't know.
No, that was Call of Duty was after that. So Madden 2000
Madden 2004.
No.
Game of the Year.
No.
And then my favorite is also best animation was Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball, which is hilarious.
See, this is what I'm saying.
That was a
Gave
different
us
era.
a real award show.
It was bad. Yeah, I
Bad
mean, I
times.
think I remember that one. I remember just like tuning out. It's a bad memory. But I think the last one that I remember is Jack Black like in a diaper or something. In one of the Spike TV
That's
things.
crazy.
Yeah, it was just, what is going on? Who does this appeal to? You know, it's that thing of like the 90s gaming advertisements thing of like, what that the Truman Show thing? What the hell are you talking about? Who are you even talking to? It's like,
I need to
Like, it's
rewatch
just
that
a
movie.
weird
It's
thing.
great.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I just thought that was amazing that was the game of the year among all these that just in hindsight were just kind of pinnacle games, you know.
Madden 2004 Game of the Year winner.
I actually had that
No,
one
that's-
and GameCube, and it wasn't a great Madden game, but whatever.
It certainly
Game of the
wasn't
Year
better
because-
than KOTOR.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me? KOTOR is one of the greatest games of all time.
Madden 04 wasn't better than WarioWare, which did come out in 03. I got.
How did you pull that out of your butt?
You know what it was? He said GameCube, and that was honestly, I had so much fun with WarioWare on GameCube.
Oh, okay.
So that was.
I
it
just
was,
can't believe you knew that came out that year. That's awesome.
It was
I
a
freaking
lucky
love
guess.
WarioWare games.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Brute Force, which I think came out around there for Xbox, and I was like, that game sucked. So I was like thinking of like this really bad game, Yeah, no, that's even worse, truly.
So you just saw a clip of my podcast, the Nerd Nest podcast. If you enjoyed it, then do me a favor and click on that like button. And if you really enjoyed it, then check out the link in the description down below. It's going to take you to the full podcast so you can watch the entire conversation and a whole lot more. If that sounds good, I hope to see you over there. Thanks for watching. Stay rad, everybody.